Hey everybody, welcome back to our Former Athletes Society Q&A. It's Adam Ringler here, and welcome to our Q&A session. This is what we do. Whether you're watching this for the first time ever in your entire time here on YouTube or the Former Athletes Society, whether you're watching it in the morning, in the middle of the day, in the afternoon, doesn't matter. If it's during your workout, you're on the treadmill, I am glad that you are here, that you're tuning in for yourself. Now, a couple different things about this Q&A call if you're unfamiliar with our Former Athletes Society. As always, my name is Adam Ringler. I'm a strength conditioning coach. I have been one all of my professional career, been doing this nearly 20 years. And my job is to take everything that I've learned through strength conditioning, high performance sport, and apply it and give you the actionable, tangible things that you can apply to your life. So on our Q&A calls, we have some questions that we dive into from our adamringler.com Former Athlete Society community. If you've never been there, this is the place to sign up for it. You can go to adamringler.com, join our Former Athlete Society, and you can have your questions answered in real time during these calls all of the time. So we're going to dive straight into the community Q&A questions, and they are the exact kind of questions that not only help former athletes like me and like you and like if you're watching this, like anybody, but they help us stay sharp, stay strong, and more importantly, stay healthy. But they also help you build better awareness of how to adapt your training now that maybe you're not competing, you're not trying to win an NCAA championship. So here is what we are talking about today. Number one, how to bring up maybe weak muscle groups. Should you add cardio before strength or strength training before cardio? We're going to talk about some mobility work, and particularly a practitioner that specializes in mobility, if you will. And I'm going to talk about some core training later in this Q&A call. And then my fifth and final thing that I pre-selected out from a question and answer that I want to make sure that I get is about mitochondrial health, a huge topic in strength conditioning. I think you're going to love what we're discussing today. So let's break each one of these things down into its component parts, right? Now, I fixed my weakest muscles by training less. And here's why that's backwards, right? So question one that I get is, I've got lagging body parts. Right, I'm reading it from my screen. I got lagging body parts that just won't grow. Coach, should I add volume? Should I increase my intensity or the frequency? Now, that is an awesome question. And this is one that gets really right to the heart of real programming intelligence. So here's my rule of thumb. And it served me well into my lifting career and my coaching career and my athletes as well. Start by increasing your frequency first. Why? Because frequency gives your body more exposures to training, more practice, and more patterning opportunities to recruit those weaker muscles. If you're only training maybe a weak body part once per week, it's going to take forever to see adaptations. But if you train it 2 to even 3 times a week, you increase the neurological and muscular efficiency, and you just give your body more chances to grow. So say your calves are lagging behind all of your extra body parts, right? Your things, right? Add an extra day or 2 of targeted calf work on top of your split. Keep the volume reasonable at first. Don't blow them up or anything like that. Then once you're adapting well to more frequency, then slowly scale up the volume during each workout. And then only after that, maybe you start laying in some intensity, some intensifiers, some drop sets, higher RPEs, right? Or reps in reserve, heavier loading, all of those things. And I've used this exact framework. Frequency first, then volume, then intensity to bring up my weak lagging parts, quads in particular, delts, right, calves, glutes, chest, back, all of my weak parts, which is everything, you name it. And it works. It's structured, it respects recovery, and best of all, it builds muscle without torching your whole CNS system or screwing up your other lifts. So fantastic question. I appreciate you sending that one in, and let's move on to maybe question 2. Now, this one is David out of Tampa. All right, David, let's see what this question is here. Should you do cardio before or before lifting? Should you do cardio before or after lifting? My goodness, we got to articulate these questions. Should you do cardio before or after my strength training? Okay, that's a better. There it is. So this is a classic question that we get all of the time. And here's a science-backed version of my answer for you of this. But it's also maybe real-world advice, right? From somebody that's been doing this for a long time. There are 2 major energy signaling pathways involved, AMPK and mTOR. Now, AMPK gets activated during endurance or cardio work. It's somewhat catabolic. It breaks things down to produce energy. Now, mTOR, on the other hand, is anabolic. It helps build muscle. So the problem between these two pathways is that they don't play nicely together. Stimulating one blunts the other, and vice versa. So yeah, ideally, strength training comes before cardio if your goal is hypertrophy or strength. You want to tap into mTOR signaling without it getting suppressed by AMPK. But here's the practical take, and just a real world one. If you only have a limited time window, or if you're simply just trying to improve your health and your consistency of training, then just get it in. Don't let the sequencing of which one comes first paralyze you. If you're training for performance or body composition and you've got a choice, if you're a bodybuilder or a physique athlete or something like that, strength first. Tackle that. If you're just trying to improve heart health, right, just get your steps in. No big deal. Don't overthink it. Make it work for your schedule, not against it, right? So appreciate the question. Let's move on. Now, before we do, a couple different things. If you are joining us on this call, right, and you're watching this YouTube replay, I need you to do this for me. I absolutely need you to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, right? Get first access to all these videos as soon as they drop. That helps the YouTube algorithm. That allows us to get more in front of more eyes and help more athletes, things like that. So like this video, subscribe to it, leave a comment if there's anything in this Q&A that you've taken away, and then hit the notification bell for me. Let's do that. Moving on. Now, I got to tell you, this guy changed mobility training forever. And here's why Kelly Starrett is a legend within strength conditioning. So, question 3. What's your take on Kelly Starrett and his YouTube mobility work? Is it worth following? Short answer is yeah, it's absolutely worth following. I love it. I like it. The longer answer, however, is that Kelly Starrett is one of the most influential mobility and movement coaches of maybe the last 20 years. Now, his early YouTube series, MobilityWOD, was a game changer for strength coaches around the country, particularly strength conditioning coaches. It made high-level movement prep and tissue recovery content accessible to millions of people and coaches as well. Now, his book, Supple Leopard, that was required strength conditioning reading. Ready to Run, hugely helpful, even if you don't identify as a runner. Kelly brought these concepts like joint flossing, voodoo bands, lacrosse ball work, joint centralization to the mainstream. He made mobility feel like it was actual training, not just rehab. So if you're someone who's dealing with things like chronic tightness, movement restrictions, or even just aging joints that don't quite move like they used to, Kelly's routines are gold. No gimmicks, no BS, just applied physiology and real-world solutions. So follow him, try his work, and be consistent. You'll move better, you'll feel better, and your lifts will probably thank you. So appreciate that question. Let's move on. Now, if you haven't already done this, guys, and you're watching this video thus far, I need you to head over right here, Adam Ringler, Instagram. Give me a like, give me a follow on that. We're posting new content all the time. I share our videos, I share some reels and some snippets there, but I also give you behind the scenes access to strength conditioning. So I think you'll really enjoy that. Now, next question, and this one is a doozy. Coach, I've been doing tons of sit-ups, but I don't see much ab definition or performance change. What gives? That's a great question. Now, there's two things here. Exercise selection, and you guessed it, body composition. So first, if you're only doing sit-ups and you're training the core in one plane of motion, particularly spinal flexion, but your core's job is actually multidimensional. It resists extension, it resists lateral bending, and it resists rotation. And that's how it protects your spine and stabilizes your trunk. Those are all things that are important and it's designed to do. So here's how I build real-world core strength. Anti-extension. Let's start with this. This is going to be very Mike Boyle, if you will. Anti-extension. So things like front planks, ab wheel rollouts, hollow holds. Now, anti-lateral flexion, those are your suitcase carries, your side planks, your offset farmer's walks, things like that. And your anti-rotation, you probably guessed it if you're a strength coach, pal-off presses, landmine rotations, cable holds, things like that. So my answer to you would be you have to train your core like a 3D stabilizer, not just a crunch machine. You get stronger, you reduce your back pain, you improve your transfer to big lifts. Now, if you're still not seeing abs visually, Well, yeah, this might shock you a little bit. That's because we probably need to check the kitchen. And what I mean by that is that no amount of core work will outtrain a calorie surplus. Abs are made with proper energy balance. That might mean tightening up your portion sizes, reducing liquid calories, or making sure that your protein is dominant in your meals. So we have to train smart, we have to eat lean, and then you get the results that you're probably looking for with a type of question like that. So appreciate that question. Guys, if you haven't already done this, right, we could use to buff up our numbers a little bit, right? Our subscriptions, things like that, our comments, our engagement with some of these videos. I know we can do a little bit better. I'm going to challenge you to do a little bit more. So like this channel again, leave some comments, join our community. We're building something super special here. I want you to be a part of it. Now, this last question is awesome, right? And it cuts to a lot of the movement that I'm starting to see within fitness professionals. And it's this. Is there anything I can do naturally to improve my mitochondrial health and my energy production? And listen, that's a great question. And the answer is absolutely yes. Mitochondria, as we know from probably, elementary school, are the powerhouse of the human cell, right? So mitochondria are actually the power plants of your cells. They produce ATP, and ATP is the currency of energy. So if you want more stamina and better recovery and improved brain clarity and long-term health, you want your mitochondrial functioning well. So here's some basic recommendations. Zone 2 cardio. And this is your low intensity, your long duration work. Your heart rate should be maybe around 120 to 140 beats per minute, although Peter Attia talks a lot about having a conversational pace to your voice, just slightly, you're breathing behind each word. That would be roughly around your zone 2. So think of things like fast walking, easy biking, steady rowing. It directly supports mitochondrial biogenesis. Things like cold exposure, right? Cold showers or ice baths stress the mitochondria in a way that leads to adaptations. It doesn't need to be extreme cold, just consistent. Nutrition, eating whole foods rich in antioxidants, especially things like green leaves and berries and fatty fish and nutrients, right? Like magnesium and carnitine seems to help mitochondrial function. Here's the big one, sleep. Sleep is where a lot of mitochondrial cleanup actually occurs and happens. So no amount of supplements will replace sleep deprivation. There is some research out of I forget the researcher's name, that looks at autophagy and fasting windows, right? And some research suggests that intermittent fasting supports mitochondrial efficiency through autophagy. So Rhonda Patrick is another YouTuber and podcaster that talks a lot about sort of fasting as it relates to mitochondrial efficiency and autophagy. But if you're an athlete, listen, you need calories. You can't fast. You got to train, right? You got to eat. You got to fuel. You don't need a pill to build better mitochondria. You actually need stimulus. You need recovery. You need consistency. And all of those things, I think, would help with some of your mitochondrial functioning. Listen, it's a quick one. We're 16 minutes into this or so, 15, 16, I don't know, 13 minutes. That's going to wrap up our Q&A session. So 5 real world questions, and hopefully I've given you 5 straight answers. And hopefully there's a few of those answers that get you thinking maybe a little bit different about your training, your performance, your recovery, and everything in between. So if you found this helpful, I need you to pass it on to someone in our community, in your community, and somebody that you know. Share this knowledge with them. It will help their life. And plus you look rad by helping somebody else. And then also, like everything else, make sure you tap that like button. Helps get this content in front of more former athletes just like us. So hit the subscribe button. And if you haven't already, hit the notification bell so you never miss one of our episodes, because we've been dropping these videos 2 to 3 times a week. And then lastly, if you've got more questions like this, drop them into our Former Athlete Society thread. And we have that over at adamringler.com. It's right there. You can see it. It's right here. Make sure you drop it in there, right? Join our Former Athlete Society. It's a collection, a community of former athletes all trying to make their bodies better, their performance better. And when you sign up, you'll get full access to our Former Athlete Society platform, exclusive tools, resources, training plans. I'm talking about real world, delivered from me to you, free, complimentary training plans, just being a part of our Former Athlete Society. So keep showing up, keep training with that great intent. And as always, let's keep building the strongest version of ourselves, and we'll do it together. Talk soon. Stay sharp. We have another series of videos dropping next week. So appreciate every single one of you guys. Take care.